Hello. So tonight I want to talk about monoverts. So just kind of as the description said, have you ever been told you talk too much? And one of the key things here is I want people to know that yes, there are people that are needy or codependent or have other issues, maybe. But there's also a type of person called a monovert, and that's my term because they've given up or they get energy from one-on-one conversation. So introverts get energy from silence. They can get energy from conversation for short periods of time, but silence is still the energy builder. If an introvert was to talk to somebody 3 hours a day, 7 days in a row, even if it was good conversation, they would still need silent time to recharge, or quiet dinners, or a 6 hour car drive is probably going to be mostly silence. Where an extrovert, they get energy from talking to 6 or 7 people. And one-on-one energy pulls energy from them. So it's not that they can't, but it takes energy. Where for a monovert, they get energy from that conversation. Intros get it from inside, silence. Extros get it from outside, groups. Monoverts get energy from one-on-one, good conversation. Groups take energy. Silence is neutral. It kind of is a decompression, but it's not an energy build. And they'll do all kinds of things for that one-on-one conversation if it's really good. And if they have good conversation with somebody 3 hours a day, they'll want to do that 365 days a year. Sometimes they'll want to break for a little bit, but because it builds energy, as long as they like the conversation and the person, then why, right? Like for an introvert, if they get 3 hours of silence time a day, then they could live with that pretty much all the time because that's a recharge, right? And the same with extroverts. It's not, they may take a day off here and there, but because that's an energy builder, that why, right? So for a monovert, hey, a good conversation after a hard day's work rebuilds the energy levels. It's what invigorates you. In fact, it's what might make them go to the gym or stop by a friend's house after work, so they could have that one-on-one conversation and rebuild their energy. So why does this matter? Well, 70% of the population is introvert. So even if they're collaborative introvert and they get some energy from short periods of conversation, that a monovert overloads them. And so being a monovert myself, I have learned, like most of us have, to moderate myself, and you watch who you're talking to and how long you're talking to them and how much energy you're pulling from them. And it gets really tiring. And for a monovert, especially if you don't have another monovert friend, in a relationship, it can be really hard because the introvert needs that silent time, and the monovert's over there going, oh, then it kind of sucks because you're not talking. And this car ride really sucks because it's 6 hours of silence. So the introvert's over there saying, I need to recharge, right? Like, you're taking too much energy. And there's nothing wrong with either one of them. And it's just, the monovert gains energy in a different way. So the whole point of this video, if you get nothing else out of it, and tell me if you're interested in a community or a channel or learning more about the different types of monoverts, is that just because you gain energy from one-on-one conversation does not make you bad. It doesn't make you needy. It doesn't make you codependent. It doesn't make you, too talkative or any of these other derogatory terms that people have used to say these things about you. It just means you get energy in a way that most people don't. Monoverts are less than 10% of the population from what I've been able to gauge so far, because most people, it takes energy from them to have those long one-on-one conversations. But for a monovert, it's just not true, because it gives you energy in a healthy way. It's not, you're not overeating, you're not grabbing another cup of coffee, you're talking a little bit longer. And it can be a huge motivating factor, especially if you're a collaborative monovert, because that means that you get your aha moments while you're talking. If you get two collaborative monoverts together and they're the same decision-making type, which I'll talk about later, watch them build. It's really incredible. They'll talk, and as they're talking, they're building, and they're doing, and they're getting all of the stuff done and accomplished, and to everybody else it looks ridiculous. And it's like, wow, that would just take so much work out of them. But for that particular type of person, it's what makes everything happen. It's what moves you from starting 50 projects and finishing none to finally finishing all of these projects, because that other person's there. You're talking through it. Your aha moments are coming. And, not all monoverts get their aha moments while they're talking, but they'll still do things just for that conversation. That is what could make them eat better and start doing things better and exercise better and start a business that they wanted to for years. It literally changes their life to have another monovert around, to finally feel like they're not too much, to finally be able to talk and not worry about filtering themselves or being a pain or pestering or any of these other things that people tell you is a monovert, because you're just simply too much for their energy to handle. But for another monovert, you're perfect. Doesn't even matter if you're doing anything. Like, you could be in a wheelchair and unable to do anything but talk, and you would still be valuable to another monovert, because that conversation is what would fuel them. You could be sitting there and talking to them, and they could be getting some work done. They could be doing whatever projects they need to get done. Maybe they're just recharging and painting. And your conversation is what is literally helping them rebuild. And that is what it means to find another monovert. And to realize that finally, you're not too much. You're not all of these other things that people have told you you are. I mean, you could be to them, but that doesn't mean you are to all of us. If you're a monovert, that's just how you are. And if you're lucky enough to find another one, then that can change life and mean so much. So if you're interested in learning more, or interested in being part of a monovert group, if I can create one, then let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.